We have some major breaking news. Sean Diddy Combs has just filed a $100 million defamation lawsuit against NBC Universal for the making of Diddy, the making of a Bad Boy documentary.
Because my next guest just testified before a federal grand jury. He says he was in possession of a trove of digital evidence from Diddy's freak-offs and parties.
Here's a question for you. What happens when one of the most controversial figures in entertainment decides to take on some of the biggest names in media? Buckle up, because we're diving into the explosive lawsuit Sean Diddy Combs has launched against NBC Universal, Peacock, and Ample Entertainment. A legal battle so fiery, it's already sparking rumors of an even bigger storm brewing behind the scenes. And trust us, this isn't just about a simple documentary. It's about power, reputation, and the fight for survival in the court of public opinion. Now, let's rewind a bit. It all started when Peacock premiered a 90-minute documentary titled Diddy, the Making of a Bad Boy. Billed as an expose of the music mogul's life, the film promised to uncover the man behind the fame. Oh, it delivered all right, but not in the way Diddy or his fans might have hoped. Instead, the documentary unleashed a tidal wave of allegations, painting him as more than just a controversial artist. From claims of orchestrating violence to accusations of unspeakable behavior, the documentary didn't hold back. And let's just say, Diddy didn't take it lying down.
Did he? Or didn't he? Well, if he didn't, he's got a lot to explain. Well, apparently what Diddy's done now, which is a very interesting thing, is he's on the offensive of sorts. That's right, Sean Diddy Combs has initiated a $100 million defamation lawsuit.
The lawsuit he filed is as dramatic as the documentary itself. He's suing NBC Universal and its partners for a jaw-dropping $100 million in damages, accusing them of defamation and reckless disregard for the truth. According to his legal team, the documentary wasn't just a hit piece, it was a calculated move to profit off his high-profile legal troubles. And let's not forget, this all comes as Diddy faces his own daunting criminal trial, set to begin in May. Coincidence? His lawyers don't think so.
And in their complaint, Diddy's attorneys are saying that NBC Universal made the assumption that their client has committed numerous heinous crimes, including serial murder, R of minors, and S trafficking of minors.
In the lawsuit, Diddy's team has torn apart the documentary's credibility, calling it a rush job meant to outpace competing projects on the same subject. And they're not shy about pointing fingers. They claim that producers relied on dubious sources, some of whom have their own legal battles against Diddy. For instance, the lawsuit highlights interviews with former employees, acquaintances, and even an attorney who has been vocal about representing alleged victims in separate cases. Diddy's team maintains that these individuals had every reason to exaggerate or outright fabricate stories to boost their own agendas. Take, for example, one of the most controversial claims in the documentary, that Diddy was somehow linked to the untimely passing of his longtime partner, Kim Porter. The film reportedly included interviews suggesting her passing wasn't natural, fueling conspiracy theories that Diddy's camp has labeled as baseless and outrageous. To make matters worse, the documentary allegedly tied these claims to other high-profile losses in Diddy's orbit, weaving a narrative that he was at the center of a dark web of misfortune. His lawyers argue that these conspiracy theories aren't just irresponsible, they're dangerous, particularly as he prepares to face a jury on unrelated charges.
Specifically challenges allegations suggesting that Mr. Combs and his involvement in the 2018 of his former partner, Kim Porter, whose passing was officially attributed to natural causes by the Los Angeles County coroner.
But it doesn't stop there. The documentary also delved into Diddy's personal life, using anonymous sources who allege inappropriate behavior spanning decades. One particularly incendiary claim involves an unnamed individual who suggested witnessing questionable events, allegedly involving younger individuals. Diddy's legal team has vehemently denied these allegations, pointing out that the individuals in question have since publicly confirmed they were of age at the time. According to the lawsuit, these so-called revelations were presented without proper fact-checking, creating a false and damaging narrative.
There's no evidence about it. I mean, what do you do when you think I did this stuff and there's no evidence whatsoever? You're out of your mind. You're crazy. There's no evidence of this. Now, his attorneys argue that the documentary maliciously portrays him as a monster and draws unfounded comparisons, they allege, to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, the lawsuit...
And let's talk about the tone of the documentary for a second. Diddy's lawyers have gone as far as to call it a vicious character assassination. accusing the filmmakers of using theatrical language to manipulate viewers. Terms like embodiment of Lucifer and comparisons to other notorious figures, yeah, those didn't sit well with Diddy's camp. They argue that such language wasn't just inflammatory, it was designed to destroy his reputation beyond repair. And with his upcoming trial looming, they claim this could jeopardize his right to a fair hearing.
They go on to say, quote, "It maliciously and baselessly jumps to the conclusions that Mr. Combs is a, quote, monster and a, quote, embodiment of Lucifer with, quote, a lot of similarities to Jeffrey Epstein."
What's fascinating, though, is that Diddy isn't just playing defense. Rumors are swirling that his legal team is gearing up to file additional lawsuits, potentially pushing the total damages sought to a staggering $1 billion. Yes, you heard that right, $1 billion. While details remain scarce, insiders suggest that these lawsuits could target other media outlets, former associates, and even individuals who've spoken out against him. It's a bold move, no doubt, but one that aligns with Diddy's reputation for fighting back when cornered. Of course, this legal onslaught isn't just about money. It's about reclaiming his narrative. For decades, Diddy has been one of the most polarizing figures in the entertainment world, celebrated for his entrepreneurial spirit, but often criticized for his larger-than-life persona. This lawsuit, according to his team, is an attempt to draw a line in the sand, to say enough is enough. But will it work? That's the billion-dollar question. Meanwhile, Diddy's lawyers have been working overtime to secure his release on bail, an uphill battle to say the least. Despite offering a colossal $50 million bail package complete with house arrest and strict monitoring conditions, the courts have repeatedly denied his requests. Prosecutors argue that he poses a risk to the community and could potentially influence witnesses, a claim his defense team has strongly disputed. They maintain that Diddy has been fully cooperative with the investigation and deserves the chance to prepare for his trial from the comfort of his own home.
We're monitoring another push to free Sean Diddy Combs tonight, with his legal team citing new evidence in an updated bail proposal. The music mogul agreeing to around-the-clock security and cutting out contact with basically anyone but his legal team to get out of jail ahead of his trial scheduled for May of next year for charges he allegedly coerced and abused women for years.
But here's where it gets even more intriguing. Some legal experts suggest that Diddy's team might be using this defamation lawsuit as a strategic move to shift the public narrative. After all, if they can discredit the documentary and its sources, it could cast doubt on the broader allegations against him. And let's not forget, public opinion plays a huge role in high-profile cases like this. By going on the offensive, Diddy's lawyers might be trying to sway potential jurors before the trial even begins.
Everybody familiar with the old Houdini? So what Diddy's lawyers are trying to do is pull a Houdini. They're trying to say that the evidence that they have is different. Well, it's not different. The video that the entire world has seen is not going to go away. The fact that he had parties that were freak-offs is not going away. So it's just a question of whether or not Diddy is
At the same time, this lawsuit raises questions about the responsibility of media companies in reporting on controversial figures. Did NBC Universal and its partners cross the line in their quest for a sensational story, or were they simply doing their job as journalists, uncovering uncomfortable truths? It's a debate that's likely to rage on, especially as more details about the documentary's production come to light. And then there's the human element. Amid all the legal drama, it's easy to forget that Diddy's family is caught in the crossfire. His mother, Janice, has been vocal in her defense of her son, describing the accusations against him as part of a larger, coordinated effort to bring him down. She's called for the public to reserve judgment and allow her son to have his day in court, a sentiment echoed by his children, who've also faced immense scrutiny in the wake of these allegations.
Good morning, Michael. At this point, we've all probably heard about these infamous parties. Diddy's assistant now giving us details about what he says were called Wild King Nights.
As for Diddy himself, he's maintained his innocence, describing the lawsuit as a fight not just for his reputation, but for his livelihood. In public statements, he's expressed confidence that he'll be vindicated, urging fans to focus on the positive impact he's had on the music industry and beyond. But with so much at stake, both financially and personally, it's clear that this is more than just a legal battle, it's a war for his legacy. So, where does this leave us? On one hand, you have a documentary that sparked outrage and debate, raising questions about accountability and ethics in storytelling. On the other, you have a celebrity fighting to clear his name, using every tool at his disposal to push back against what he sees as a smear campaign. And in the middle of it all, you have a public captivated by the drama, waiting to see how it all unfolds.
A lot of times you have him with a younger female, and there's a power dynamic there. A more impressionable girl is easier to reel in. Consent is between the people that are engaging, and I wasn't there in these situations to understand the consent.
But here's the kicker, this is just the beginning. As Diddy's lawsuit gains traction and as new allegations and counterclaims emerge, the story is far from over. Will he succeed in turning the tide in his favor? Or will this legal saga mark the beginning of the end for one of hip-hop's biggest icons? One thing's for sure, this is a battle no one will forget anytime soon. And with whispers of even bigger lawsuits on the horizon, it seems the drama is only just heating up. So as the storm of Diddy's lawsuit against NBC Universal and others brews on one side, the other side of this saga is even darker, more explosive, and frankly impossible to ignore. Let's talk about the downfall of Sean Diddy Combs, once the king of hip-hop, now a man fighting for his freedom, his legacy, and maybe even his life. How did the man who built an empire from the ground up find himself at the center of one of the most scandalous legal battles in entertainment history? And more importantly, is there any way for him to claw his way back?
He was responsible for Diddy's day-to-day life, so he is able to provide a lot of information about what that life was like. He goes into detail on extensive use.
Let's set the stage. It was September of last year when Diddy's world came crashing down. The music mogul, known for his flashy lifestyle, jaw-dropping business deals, and seemingly untouchable persona, was arrested in New York. The charges? Let's just say they were the kind of accusations that sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry. This wasn't just about bad behavior, it was about allegations that could lead to a lifetime behind bars. And from that moment on, everything changed. Diddy was taken to the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, a far cry from the luxurious mansions and five-star hotels he was used to. And while his legal team scrambled to secure his release, offering a massive bail package that included house arrest in his Florida mansion, the courts weren't having it. Denied over and over again, Diddy has remained behind bars, awaiting his day in court. But even as he sits in that cell, the drama surrounding him has only escalated.
And I know you said he explained all of the items that were involved in these Wild King nights. Did he mention who would participate as well?
A lot of them were unknown to him. He did mention that a lot of the women were very, very young as 20. Not underage, but certainly.
For starters, let's talk about the charges he's facing. They're serious. So serious that if convicted, Diddy could be looking at a sentence that would keep him locked away for the rest of his life. Prosecutors have painted a picture of a man who used his wealth, influence, and power to manipulate, intimidate, and control those around him. They've described elaborate events, some lasting for days, that allegedly involved behavior so shocking it's hard to believe we're talking about the same man who once danced across stages in shiny suits. But here's where things get even murkier. As more people have come forward, the accusations have piled up, and they're not just limited to the initial charges. Lawsuits have been filed left and right, each one adding another layer to this already complicated story. Some of these lawsuits date back decades, with individuals claiming they were wronged by Diddy at the height of his fame. Others are more recent, painting a picture of a man whose behavior allegedly grew more reckless over time. And of course, there are the rumors. Whispers of even more allegations that have yet to surface, fueling speculation about just how deep this rabbit hole goes.
Did Phil explain why he's speaking out now?
He said he's speaking out because he believes Diddy's a predator. He wants accountability, and he doesn't want someone like this to run unchecked in the future.
One of the most shocking claims to emerge involves allegations that Diddy targeted individuals who tried to expose or confront him. In one case, a woman alleged that she suffered retaliation after making an offhand comment about Diddy's rumored involvement in an old, infamous case concerning another rapper. According to the lawsuit, she claims Diddy tracked her down weeks later and delivered a chilling message, a warning, she says, that left her fearing for her safety. Her story, if true, paints a picture of a man willing to go to extreme lengths to protect his image. And then there's the collapse of Diddy's empire. Once a titan of the music and fashion industries, his brand has taken a massive hit since his arrest. Sponsors and business partners have distanced themselves, with some even cutting ties altogether. Events he was once headlining have been quietly rebranded, and product lines bearing his name have all but disappeared from shelves. It's a stark contrast to the days when anything with Diddy's stamp on it was a guaranteed success.
A former assistant to Sean Diddy Combs speaking out in the new interview with new allegations about wild parties and.
But the fallout isn't just financial. Diddy's reputation, once a mix of admiration and controversy, is now in tatters. Public opinion has shifted dramatically, with many questioning how someone so successful could find himself in such a catastrophic situation. And while some fans remain loyal, others have turned their backs, unable to reconcile the allegations with the man they once idolized. It's a level of scrutiny that few celebrities have faced, and it's only intensified as new accusations have come to light. Let's not forget the impact this has had on his family. Diddy's children, who have largely stayed out of the spotlight, are now being dragged into the conversation. His mother, Janice, has been vocal in her defense of her son, but even she has acknowledged the toll this ordeal has taken on their family. In a heartfelt statement, she described the pain of watching her son be judged not for the man he is, but for the narrative that has been constructed around him. Her words have resonated with some, but they've also sparked debate about the fine line between loyalty and denial. And then there's the looming trial. Set to begin in May, it promises to be one of the most high-profile cases in recent memory. Prosecutors have said they plan to call dozens of witnesses, including individuals who claim to have first-hand knowledge of Diddy's alleged behavior. Meanwhile, his legal team is preparing for what they've described as the fight of his life. They've accused the government of overreach, arguing that the case against Diddy is based on unreliable testimony and a desire to make an example out of him. It's a strategy that could work, but it's also a gamble.
Not surprised with the decision. I'm surprised that Judge Subramanian entertained it. He held a 2-hour hearing, which we were covering live, and he issued a 5-page written order. Most other judges, including the 2 previous judges, to consider this issue, summarily denied the bail motion. I think a lot of it stems from Judge Subramanian being a newer judge. This is a Biden appointee.
As the trial date approaches, the stakes couldn't be higher. For Diddy, this isn't just about clearing his name. It's about reclaiming his future. If he's found guilty, the consequences will be devastating, not just for him, but for everyone who relies on him. And even if he's acquitted, the damage to his reputation may be irreversible. It's a lose-lose situation, and it's one that's playing out on the world stage. But here's the thing, this story isn't just about Diddy. It's about the culture of celebrity, the power of the media, and the way we consume gossip and scandal. It's a reminder that fame is a double-edged sword, capable of building you up and tearing you down in equal measure. And as we watch this saga unfold, it's worth asking ourselves, how much of what we see is the truth, and how much is just a carefully constructed narrative designed to sell headlines? So what's next for Sean Diddy Combs? Will he emerge from this ordeal stronger than ever, proving his doubters wrong? Or will this be the final chapter in a career that once seemed unstoppable? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure, the world will be watching. And as the trial gets underway, you can bet there will be more twists, turns, and revelations that keep this story in the headlines. Stay tuned, because this is one drama that's far from over.
I agree, and the risk of flight was always going to be a tough argument for the government because obviously Combs voluntarily came to New York. He surrendered his passports through his lawyer. He could have fled after the March raids of his Miami and Los Angeles homes, but he didn't. He has access to 2 private jets. I think it was a tougher argument. I know the government made the argument, but clearly the best argument was the dangerousness and the witness tampering. They had much more evidence.
As we delve into this explosive saga, consider this. How will Diddy's legal battle against media giants reshape his legacy? And what does this mean for the future of celebrity justice? Could this lawsuit mark a turning point in how we view the power dynamics between celebrities and the media? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep the conversation going. Thanks for joining us, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more celebrity news and analysis.